We are fucking broadcasting for the first time in 6 goddamn months.
Whoa! We are live.
Live and alive.
So there's a group chat right here, right?
Yeah.
Talking here. Talk. Give me a link to where this can be seen real quick.
Okay.
So I can hear it.
I just posted it in the YouTube group. I mean Facebook group.
Okay. I just closed that.
Okay, I'm sending it directly to your Facebook.
All right.
Right underneath the video of the guy getting repeatedly kicked in the fucking bare balls.
Nice.
All right, you hear me? I switched my mic.
What was that?
I said I switched my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Much less echo.
Woo!
I said I switched my mic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Much less echo.
Much less echo. Much more echo.
Yeah, I said that like 15 seconds ago.
Much less echo.
I think the echo's coming from you now, Teddy. Yeah, I said that
Much less echo.
The echo's coming.
I know.
Oh my God, it's turning into that one trippy podcast again.
All right, it's action time.
Okay. Star Wars: The Last Motherfucking Jedi.
First off, is it The Last Jedi?
No, of course not.
So, what does the name mean after that?
Oh, we should mention just right at the forefront, this is going to be full-on spoilers.
Oh, yeah. That's the point.
Yep. I
So,
yesterday.
real quick, let's just give our numerical ratings. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I'll give it a 7.5.
Give it a what?
7.5.
So I like what you guys did.
That doesn't mean it's bad. That means it's bad.
Oh no, it was a good movie. I just have a lot of storyline nitpicks about it.
My only main storyline nitpick is they needed to remove Rey. Not Rey. Ben and the Asian girl. They should have just cut that from the movie completely.
I like the Asian girl. So maybe nitpick I have has to do with Snoke.
Okay, wait. We're having echo.
I can't understand it. Okay. This may be one of the most divisive Star Wars movies I have ever seen. More divisive than Rogue One, more divisive than the prequels.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of problems with it, but it's no, Star Wars Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's for sure.
I think that people's biggest problem is that they're mad that after 2 years of theorizing, the answers to their questions were so mundane.
Well, I've been looking at a lot of people's complaints about it, and I think it's more than that. I think it's a they don't like the humor. They don't. In fact, a lot of people just have a general complaint with where this is going. They didn't. A lot of them didn't like Force Awakens in the first place. They don't like Finn. They don't like Rey. They don't like Kylo Ren.
I liked Kylo Ren way more in this one than I did the first one.
I liked Kylo Ren to begin with. I think he's interesting. I think he's an interesting dynamic with him.
He's an interesting.
What I think,
I just didn't like his acting in the first movie that much.
What I like is the revelation that the helmet he wears is not something Snoke told him to wear.
Yeah, and that it's useless.
Right. It's just kind of like he put on the helmet and showed up to work one day like, hi. And everyone's like, okay. Like,
so we're
like
doing
just somebody. Yeah, this is what we're doing. It changes his voice, crazy mask. It alters his voice. He just shows up like that. And it's like, why are you doing that?
We all know the answer. It's because he wants to be more like Darth Vader.
Right. So is he a one of those people that wants to be handicapped?
Ha! He's got body integrity, identity disorder.
Right, exactly.
That might be,
then,
yeah.
You guys remember that?
And when he got the scar on his face, he was like, sweet. I got a sweet ass scar on my face.
I don't quite get what was up with the synthetic skin that was being used on the scar, and then they just fixed it.
It did heal it a bit, didn't it?
I don't know if that was supposed to be like part of the process of fixing the scar, or if he picked to have synthetic skin right there to be more like Darth Vader. And after Snoke chastised him, he's like, fuck it, I'll just have it fixed normally.
Yeah.
Well, poor Snoke.
Snoke did not get more backstory. But who cares about backstory? I really don't care about backstory.
Now, here's a question. Because somebody else mentioned this, and I don't have a clear enough memory. Was Snoke's body still in the room after he got killed?
What do you mean?
Like when all was said and done after Rey and Kylo fucked up everyone in the room, was Snoke's body still laying there?
I don't remember.
Because somebody said that it wasn't.
Like somebody grabbed it and ran off with it and tried to fix him with it? He's going to show up again?
Or he wasn't ever there in the first place.
That he was a hologram or something?
Or he could have been a projection like what Luke does.
No.
I heard you say something, John, and I don't know what it was because it was very quiet.
I said, can you hear me better?
A little
Slowly,
bit, yeah. It's clearer. There's a lot less noise.
All right,
this is why we're the least watched podcast on YouTube.
Woo!
Technical
we'd be number one on Twitch.
All three of us make videos on our own independently with no sound issues, but get the three of us together and you get the echo force.
Fantastic.
All right, so where were we?
It's because all three of us need to be wearing headphones.
We're not really. Anyway, we're jumping all around right now.
We're jumping around with the speculations that are being made now that people have seen the movie.
All right.
And so the thing
did you hear?
You saw it just yesterday, right?
Speculation about how Snoke is actually dead.
What?
Okay, so you know what Luke did where he projected himself to be in a place where he really isn't?
What?
Huh? What, can you not hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm up. I'm online for General Hux's mother. I can hear when you start talking, and then we're all echoing each other.
Yeah, we are. You hearing echoes on my end?
Yes, I'm going to mute my mic when it's somebody else's turn to talk.
Okay.
So go ahead. So go ahead now, John.
Hello? Fantastic.
I think we lost John.
I think he's muted.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
I'm going to mute so you can talk.
All right. So I was asking, did you guys hear the theory about Snoke isn't actually dead?
I feel like I'm hearing. Okay, now Teddy's muted. Now say it one last time.
Did you guys hear the theory about how Snoke isn't actually dead?
Yes, that is actually what we were just talking about. I was going to ask you, since you just saw the movie yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay. When all is said and done and Finn and Rey are done fighting Kylo and Rey are done fighting all the people in the room, do you remember Snoke's body being there still?
No, I don't.
I don't either, but it might only be because I've heard that theory and it's fucking with my memory.
Oh, fun Easter egg for you. So you know those statues that were in Snoke's throne room?
Uh-huh.
Those were the same statues that were in Palpatine's office in Episode 3.
Really? That's weird.
I don't know what statues you're talking about.
I'll pull up a picture of them and send it to the chat.
Did anyone else think that Snoke's throne room almost looked like an unfinished special effect?
What, like the green screen with the red?
Yeah, like it was so red that it looked like they were trying to do something there and somebody forgot to edit it in.
Well, I kind of see that as like more of the samurai basis for the stories. There's a lot of red, like rain in the Asian films.
Mm.
And also because the toys are in mind. And the figure and the figures that were the guards guys were all red, like red, like nothing but red, so that the toys could be just made out of red plastic without any extra paint applications.
Yeah, I always wished we got to see those dudes do something in the movies.
So what do you think about the theory that those guys are the Knights of Ren?
No. No way.
Why not?
Because you got to assume those guys were at least as old as Luke, which would mean that the Knights of Ren were composed of all old guys and one young guy who was the leader.
Why were they as old as Luke? Couldn't they have been like Kylo Ren's age? Just,
Luke was about Kylo Ren's. I don't know how old Luke is supposed to be in Jedi, come to think of it. They never give a clear indication of how old anybody is supposed to be in Star Wars. And when you think about it, their age, the number that they give is dependent probably on what planet they're on. Like, Luke could technically be like 8 years old in Tatooine years.
right.
It depends on the orbit of the planet around its particular star or stars in Luke's case. In fact, how the fuck do you determine what a year is on a planet with 2 suns?
Right. Well, okay. Let me just bring up real quick a list of complaints about Star Wars, and we'll address them.
Okay.
Now, let's start off with the big one that's already a meme. Superman, Princess Leia.
Okay. I was ready for this one, and I have my answer for that one. Superman flies like that because fuck you. There's no reason why he flies that way. He just puts his arm and fist forward because it looks cool. Leia was not flying. Leia was how the Jedi have the Force push. She was doing a Force pull. And that's why her arm was extended outward. She was grabbing a hold of something with the Force and pulling herself towards it. That's it.
I mean, in general, her flying around in space and stuff like that. I hear a lot of people complaining that was goofy, that was weird, it didn't make any sense. Personally, I thought it was badass.
I thought it was badass too. I thought it was great that Leia finally got a powerful in the Force moment.
Right, and I think that she was keeping it secret because she knew just how, but at that moment she had to do it.
Or she was doing what Obi-Wan said and just acting on instinct.
Well, I mean, yeah, that too. But I think she's aware that she has Force powers, but she's not exactly trained in it. And she doesn't really.
Well, she has to know she has Force powers because she can sense when somebody close to her dies. Like,
right.
She felt it when Han Solo died. She felt it when Luke died. She just feels shit stronger than most people do. Just like Yoda, when Order 66 happens, he feels that happen.
Or Obi-Wan feeling the millions of people cry out in terror and suddenly silenced.
Yeah, it's a well-established, well-fucking-known Force ability that she has. So it's easy to assume that, one, because she's a Skywalker, and two, because she has Force sensitivity, that she would be able to do some unusual shit. That being said, God, that ability could have saved a lot of lives in the past.
Oh, sure. So,
think of all the Jedi we saw get shot out of the sky during Order 66 that could have just, like, done that.
So, what do you think about that, John? Her flying. Did you like that?
Honestly, I didn't really think much of it. I thought it was kind of stupid, but not really anything I wanted to nitpick on.
I was going to bitch about it at first.
I think it was pretty cool.
I was going to bitch about it at first, and then I thought about it. I'm like, well, we let Guardians of the Galaxy get away with it.
Right.
People being in space. Y'all. Huh?
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Right, yeah, she is Mary Poppins. So two of us think it was pretty badass. One of them thinks it was kind of stupid, but not that big a deal. Okay. Next up, the death of Phasma.
Supposed death of Phasma.
Oh, come on, she fell into fire.
I understand that, but a lot of people are trying to make the argument that she probably survived because right before that, they made a note to show that her armor can just deflect a blaster bolt.
Right, but I mean, but the
I think she's dead.
Mm-hmm. If she is the Boba Fett of the series, then yeah.
And as far as how I feel about it, I'm angry because they wasted Gwendolyn Christie, who, if you watch Game of Thrones, you know is just fucking badass. And they wasted her in the worst possible way by having useless ass Finn beat her.
Well, he had to do something.
No, he didn't.
And
he had to have a moment. Everybody had to have their moments.
Well, that wasn't much of a moment.
Okay.
Finn's
what do you think of the
moment Finn's real moment should have been Finn should have died. His real moment should have been crashing into that battering ram.
You can't kill the brother. You can't die. That's too. Yeah.
Well, fuck their diversity quota, because I think that would have been a great way for him. That would have been a great way for that character to end.
Sure.
Because
add on to that with the other major complaint, Asian Rose.
she was pointless. I didn't even realize she was supposed to be a character until like 20 minutes of her being on the screen. I was like,
Right.
oh, she's like a new character. She's not just someone who runs the jail cells. Or not the jail cells. She kept watch over the escape pods.
And so, did she bother you though? Did you find her annoying?
I found her completely and utterly useless.
Okay.
Yes. Did not need to be there. Nothing interesting about her. Her name is weird. It's just weird that there's someone named Rose. Her saving Finn ruined what could have been a great moment and replaced it with a really cheesy moment.
Honestly,
No, I'm not.
it would have been
I'm not.
nice if Finn would have actually sacrificed himself.
Plus, I think her whole arc with Finn is just fucking pointless. They could have easily just not had that in the movie, because it ultimately leads to nothing. They get betrayed by Benicio del Circus, and he leaves.
Right.
By the way, John, the traitor hacker guy, were you trying to figure out if it was Benicio del Toro or Andy Serkis the whole time?
Honestly, no.
I was.
I didn't really get too invested in his character, honestly.
No, I mean just his look. My cousin and I kept going, is that Andy Serkis or is that Benicio del Toro? There's no reason we should be mixing those two up.
For me, it wasn't the look, it was more of the accent that I was trying to figure out, because I recognize people more by their voices than I do what they look like.
Well, Benicio del Toro and Andy Serkis are both known for doing a lot of different kinds of voices.
All right, so I'm sending the picture of the statues in the throne room to that chat, plus another cool thing I found. All right, so you know the little symbol that Luke had on the floor, like, was on that little weird-looking yin-yang symbol?
Yeah.
Somebody did an inverted picture of it where they flipped it upside down. It looks pretty neat.
Okay.
For some reason, upside down, it looks like Snoke. Now, those statues that were in the throne room were Snoke when Kylo and Rey were in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was something familiar. I just like something besides the obvious, parallel to the Emperor's throne room in Jedi. Something else, like part of the scenery, did look familiar.
Yeah. Because
it might have been some familiar imagery.
I don't know, because from what I know, the director, Ryan Johnson, or whatever the hell his name is, every movie he's done, whatever you see on the surface isn't really what's actually going on.
Well, he hasn't done that many movies. The only movie of his I really know is Looper.
But even still, every movie I've seen of his that he's done, it's like he'll show you something and put it in front of your face, but the reality of what's really happening isn't there for you to see. It's kind of like Luke said in the movie, it's not going to go the way you think.
Yeah, it certainly didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I don't think anybody predicted the movie going the way it went. Like, I don't think anybody thought that Snoke was going to die in this movie. Nobody thought that Rey was going to end up just being, you know, your parents were nobody. They were just shitty junk dealers that sold you to pay a bar tab.
Yeah. But speaking of the whole part where fucking Kylo tells Rey that she's nobody, I saw a funny picture online about trying to hit on Rey. It's like, all right, stay cool. Don't embarrass yourself. Everything will be all right. Be nice, and she'll end up liking you. You're nobody.
I cannot figure out what the dynamic between those two is. I can't figure out if I'm supposed to be getting a romantic tone off of them or if I'm supposed to be getting something else. Because sometimes it feels like they like dig each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, honestly, I'm trying to figure what's up.
There's one other thing about the whole Snoke may not be dead thing. Snoke said that he was the reason they could communicate with each other the way they were doing. And at the end of the movie, they were still able to do that.
Yeah, I noticed that. But for me,
So,
my biggest thing that I'm trying to figure out between Rey and Kylo is the fact, like, I still, like, even after the whole scene with Luke on the fucking planet and shit, where he was fighting Luke's hologram and all that shit, I still don't buy the fact that Kylo's actually evil.
well, I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna go back to being good by the end.
That's
Maybe.
the biggest thing I like about Kylo, though, is his whole character dynamic. Because guys' opinions on him, but I honestly think Kylo's the best character in the new series, just because of his whole inner struggle dynamic.
If he is the main villain and Snoke is really dead, then it'll be really unsatisfying if he's a good guy and they don't like have a big climactic battle where they kill the big bad.
Yeah.
But
we also apparently in this movie we also learned apparently even when you're dead you can still use the Force.
well, I mean, the Force is like the binding energy of the universe, so why would you have to be alive to fucking manipulate it?
So speaking of that,
I would think that not having a physical body would actually make you more able to use it.
What did you guys think of Yoda in the film?
I loved it. At first, when I saw Yoda, I went, "Oh no!" And then he started talking. I was like, "Oh shit! It's Yoda! It's really Yoda! Like it's not prequels Yoda. It's Yoda."
Yeah, they did the 5 and 6 Yoda, the sarcastic, smartass version, which I love.
Right, and he was based on the original molds from the Empire Strikes Back Yoda puppet, and
he was a puppet.
Right, and they made the puppet, and Frank Oz operated him. In fact, they tweaked it a bunch until they got it back to where it was supposed to be. Like he tried out the puppet, he's like, "Nah, it's not quite right."
Was it the same voice actor from episode 5 and 6?
Frank Oz, yes.
Yeah.
Now, somebody said somebody said that that the movie was dedicated to Carrie Fisher, right? Like, well, there's like a thing that says dedicated to the loving memory of Carrie Fisher, right?
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything that was dedicated to Kenny Baker.
Oh, those dicks.
And I said there was. It was just very small and inside a can.
So here's my question that a lot of people have been asking online. Do you think they should have killed Leia off in the film when her ship blew up instead of putting her in a
Well, I can't help but praise the fact that the movie basically did everything I didn't expect it to do and nothing that I expected to do. But now they have the messy problem of what do we do with the Leia character, since she's alive at the end of this movie, but she is not, in fact, alive in real life. In fact,
I think she filmed her scenes for episode 9 before she died.
No,
because they don't have anything worked out yet. They literally they're literally not planning on the third movie in this series. Rian Johnson had full reign to do whatever they wanted to. In fact, they kind of canceled their plans that they had for 3 with the other director, and J.J. Abrams is coming back.
that is shiningly obvious in this movie, because it almost feels like this movie is a big fuck you to J.J. Abrams, because he basically shut down all his ideas and set the whole story on a completely different path, which may result in a really good finale or a really bad finale, because nobody was planning for this.
Right. Well, I mean, it also kind of, I mean, part of the problem was all the stuff that they set up in Force Awakens just had people coming up with theories, and then with all these theories going out there, they're like, well, if we play into these guys' theories and do what they expect us to do, well, that's not very interesting. So this time out, there's like no room to theorize. There's less speculation.
The very last theory I heard was that Snoke was the Prime Jedi.
The what Jedi?
I don't think I heard this one.
The Prime Jedi, the original Force user.
Wow, that's got to be, he's got to be thousands of years old then.
It would be hundreds of thousands of years old. Well, it would at least be tens of thousands of years old, because the history of Star Wars, I don't know about now, but it used to stretch back at least 100,000 years, I think.
Yeah.
Like there's a prehistory to Star Wars where there's still spaceships and shit.
All right, so one thing I do want to address on this. What did you think of Luke throughout the movie?
Loved him. I know that Mark Hamill was angry with how they did Luke, and I think that ultimately resulted in a funnier performance and a better performance, because he really did seem really grumpy and angry.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. I liked how he was playing against your expectations. I liked the nope moment where he just tossed the lightsaber.
Yeah, that's really divisive. Some people say that ruined what could have been a good scene. Some people are like, no, that's the best possible way he could have reacted. And I'm of the second camp. I think you can literally hear it, like you can hear his thoughts. He sees it, he's like, nope, not doing this again. Nope, fuck this, fuck her, fuck all of this. I'm going to my shack and I'm going to jack off.
Going to jack off a walrus.
And then she knocks on the door and she's like, I came on the Millennium Falcon. And he's like, oh, God damn it. What?
Well, I mean,
where did you get that?
That's the other divisive moment when he fleshlights a walrus.
that was not what I was expecting.
It's more than expected. I like the unexpected. I like the learning from failure. I like the fact that a lot of their plans didn't work out. I mean, it's a lot like the original trilogy in that way. I mean, because they did a lot of plans that didn't work, that failed completely. You know.
See, for me, my favorite.
Hold on.
What's up?
I want to talk about the walrus for a little bit.
Because if the New Hope came out today, there would be people bitching about people about the humor that was thrown in there, about what you're like. Princess Leia doesn't seem grateful that they're rescuing her, like, you know. And I mean, they were on the Death Star, and then they come back to disable it. Couldn't they have disabled the Death Star when they were on it? You know, I mean, while you're disabling the tractor beam to get off the fucking ship, why couldn't they have just disabled the giant laser or like blown it up from where they were? If it's capable of blowing up a planet, couldn't they have sacrificed themselves and blown up the Death Star while they were on it and other stuff like that? I mean, even go back to Empire Strikes Back. They made a lot of stupid mistakes. That's how it goes.
Okay, but we're missing the important topic of the walrus right now. When I say that wasn't what I was expecting, I mean that I was told that something really fucking sexual and nasty was going to happen, and to remember green milk. I was only told remember green milk. And then it happened, and I'm like, what? He milked a cow? That's it?
Yeah.
That's all he did was milk a space cow and then take a drink of it and like squirt it out of his mouth all gross because it's supposed to be kind of a gross moment. Like, look at what the fuck I have to do on this island. And by the way, the very lonely Luke meme is now completely irrelevant now that we know that he lived on that island with a bunch of little Jawa people.
Right.
He hasn't been very lonely, Luke. He's had a whole posse this whole time.
And porgs.
And porgs, yeah. I'm happy that the porgs didn't become annoying. Like, when I saw that in the trailer.
It annoyed Chewbacca a little bit. I expected that.
Well, that's okay. They can annoy Chewbacca. If they can achieve annoying the character but not the audience, then you did it right. That's where Jar Jar fucked up. He was supposed to be annoying to the characters, but he ended up being annoying to us.
Mm-hmm.
But the porgs, when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, oh no, we're already doing this. And then the movie happened. I'm like, oh, thank God. They're just like, they're not even characters. They're just background things.
Right.
They're like, I don't know, tauntauns.
Yeah, just creatures. And there were lots of creatures, which I liked. I liked creatures.
I was afraid they were going to be like the Ewoks.
And you know what? I like the casino. I did. I like the casino. I like seeing a variety of creatures in.
I did not. I will argue against you. I think the casino scene was just another cheap attempt to try to recreate the cantina. I think that it took way too much time and was trying to fucking touch on issues that they just didn't touch on enough because they didn't have enough time, like the whole animal rights and animal fighting thing. That was a pointless subplot. And the guy with the rose pin or whatever that they were looking for, the one that Maz Kanata sent them to find, not the one that they ended up with, that should have been Lando.
Yeah, I guess maybe they had room for Lando and it just didn't. They were like, fuck it.
That should have been Lando and his bald cyborg buddy. I don't know. Is that guy supposed to be a robot or a cyborg?
What guy?
You know, in Empire Strikes Back, the dude who has like the thing around the back.
Oh yeah, I think I know.
I don't know if he is a cyborg.
The wiki says that he was damaged, like he has a wound in the back of his head that was fixed with like cybernetic stuff, and yeah. I was
gonna say because Lando can like activate him and call him with his little his wrist. So I wasn't sure if he was supposed to be like a really lifelike droid.
No, he's a cyborg.
Or,
former person that was fixed with cybernetic stuff on his head.
Well, it should have been him and Lando in that scene, just for a nice little cameo.
All right, so
I don't like those callbacks. I didn't like that in Rogue One where they just passed the he doesn't like you either, kind of guys,
Yeah, but this is Lando. I'm kind of curious what Lando's up to.
Maybe we'll find out in part 3.
I mean, Luke is the guy who destroyed the Death Star, but so is Lando. Lando destroyed the other one, the one that had a way bigger defense force.
Right.
All right, so
Luke took down the Death Star in a surprise attack. Lando took down the Death Star in a full-on military engagement.
Well, here's another thing that people are complaining about. Back with the Phantom Menace, people were complaining about midichlorians. Now people are complaining about the lack of midichlorians.
Yeah.
I mean, you go one way and people complain. You go the other way and they complain. And I'm just so annoyed that I'm glad they got rid of the midichlorians. Anybody can be a Jedi, you know?
Yes. For fuck's sake, yes.
I mean, the whole thing with the first trilogy is that may the Force be with you. Like the Force can be with anybody, you know? It's a cosmic force. Pretty much anybody can tap into. Not about a bloodline. The fact that if your father was a Jedi, you could be, you know. It's just that I think it's bullshit.
Okay, wait. Off topic. You want to hear something really lame? Well, it's kind of on topic.
What is that?
Akira Toriyama, the writer of Dragon Ball Z, has midichlorian Super Saiyans. According to him, you can only be a Super Saiyan if you have a certain number of what are called S cells. And that's why there wasn't a Super Saiyan for over 1,000 years. That is officially canon.
That's the problem with that kind of canon. I don't know how consistent that is at all.
There is consistency is not a real word in Dragon Ball.
The word consistency does not exist.
It is Nazi speak. One day he'll completely forget about the S cells and give a completely different explanation.
Right.
All right, so can you all hear me?
Yeah. The audio's been fine for a while.
I've been trying to bring something up and shit, and I couldn't tell if you guys were just keeping on talking or if you guys didn't actually hear me.
Because we're always fighting for dominance over who gets to talk. Okay, go ahead, John.
All right, so
did y'all hear about that hairdo? Yeah, okay, I'm kidding.
All right, so
where to find them?
Okay, for real. Let's let John say what he wants to say.
All right, so going back to Luke and shit, where you mentioned how he threw the fucking lightsaber over his shoulder and everything, and everybody was pissed off about it.
Yep.
Honestly, my favorite thing about this whole entire movie was just the hidden meaning behind one sentence that Kylo Ren said in the film. The whole "let the past die, kill it if you have to."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That this whole entire movie, if you get down to it, like with Luke's character and everything they did, pretty much tearing apart things piece by piece and putting them back together in a new way. One sentence is pretty much sums up this whole film, in my opinion. With the change in Luke's character that they did.
I agree. I also agree with the line with this is not going to go the way you think.
Oh, yeah.
That was a creative line. That was a creative trailer line. Because, again, it goes back to this movie just really did not go the way people expected it to. I think everyone was expecting a direct lift of Empire Strikes Back. And several points in the movie, it's almost like they intentionally use visuals from the other movies just to do the opposite of what you think they're going to do.
Yep.
Like,
well, I expect it to be a combination of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, honestly, because, you know.
Yeah, and it really wasn't either.
But there were aspects of it. I mean, but they inverted it. I mean, imagine if the duel between Vader had gone the other way, where they just kill the Emperor.
Yeah.
Because that is kind of what Darth Vader proposed in Empire Strikes Back.
It is, yes.
He's like, join me, and we will destroy the Emperor and rule the galaxy as father and son.
Speaking of Snoke, somebody fucking mentioned something funny earlier. They told me that Snoke in this film looks like if Hugh Hefner fell flat on his face and then the surgeons just did their best.
Yeah. He's wearing kind of a leisure robe, like a smoking robe.
He's also been compared to a Gold member.
I can see that too, yes.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
He does have a weird accent.
Now,
and he does look like he's been picking his scabs.
I have a complaint about the movie, and it is not my idea. This is coming from the critic Jeremy Johns. I think he's absolutely right about this, though. The chick with the pink hair just nicks her altogether. And when we have the light speed kamikaze crash into the First Order, that really should have been Admiral Akbar doing that.
Sure, I agree with that.
Because Admiral Akbar died very unceremoniously. You didn't even realize it happened when it happened. And it would have been great to have the grizzled old fishman general be the one who sacrifices himself for the...
For those watching and wondering who we're talking about, the chick with the pink hair's name is Vice Admiral Holdo.
Yeah, her name is said so many times, and I just did not remember her because she's just there to be a fucking cunt and then die.
I think I see her as a palette swap on Mon Mothma.
She did kind of remind me of a bitchier Mon Mothma.
I hated her character, honestly.
And everybody has brought up, why doesn't she just tell Poe her plan? Because it's not like he shouldn't know this. It's not like anybody shouldn't know, hey, we're going to get close to this one planet, then we're going to fucking bail.
Yeah. See, one of my favorite parts in this film was when Poe states the whole, we're relieving you of your power bit.
Yeah.
Which, like, in the end, it ultimately disappointed me because, like, I would have liked to see if Poe's plan would have worked out.
Poe just ended up he just ended up being a fucking... In the first movie, he had a feel to him like, I don't know, Maverick from Top Gun. In this one, he just like... I don't even know how to describe it. He's kind of bordering on treason most of the movie.
Yeah, I thought his character was different.
Sorry to all the people out there that wanted Poe and Finn to be boyfriends. They gave Finn a different love interest.
I honestly thought fucking Finn would end up with Rey, but apparently they're trying to do the whole Kylo and Rey dynamic.
I never thought that Finn and Rey were going to end up together. I never thought that.
Well, you know Finn likes her.
I don't think he likes her that way.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he sees her as a combat buddy, if anything.
Hey, where are all the Force-sensitive white chicks?
Where are all the Force-sensitive black chicks? We haven't seen that yet.
There is a shortage of black chicks in Star Wars.
Something that has been mentioned, though, that I didn't even realize while watching the movie, no lightsaber to lightsaber contact occurs in this film. This is the only movie in the main continuity where there is no lightsaber battle.
Unless you count the flashback scene.
Unless you count the flashback scene.
Or
which I like how they did that
Rogue
too.
One. Rogue One also has no lightsaber on lightsaber contact.
In the main series, in the numbered series.
How do you,
I like how they
feel
did
about
that
Rogue
one.
One?
Huh?
How do you feel about Rogue One?
You know how I feel about fucking Rogue One.
Hate it, right?
Yes.
How do you feel about it, John?
I hate it as well. Didn't we do a podcast on
We
this
did a
already?
whole podcast about this. I was very angry the whole time.
See, I find that the people who like the Rogue One are usually gamers.
Of course they are, because it gave the video game version of Star Wars, including video game Darth Vader.
Yeah, video game Darth Vader.
I'm still trying to figure out.
Force grabbing, force choking and choke slamming.
I'm still trying to figure out the whole grabbing a blaster bolt in his hand and shooting it back out of his hand.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's very brief, but that is something that happens. That, or he may be doing the thing that he did with Han Solo, only instead of just stopping the shot, he like pushes it back towards them. But it's still
he
weird.
could have done that. Why didn't he do that on the barricade runner at the beginning of New Hope? It should have been him walking in the door and just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's not
It
wasted.
should have been him doing a lot of stuff if he could do stuff like that.
My argument for that is the fact that they didn't really think of all that shit back when New Hope came out.
Well, some other critic pointed out that it is one of the most tone-deaf moments in movie history, because for like 2 straight minutes, you are actively cheering against the heroes and rooting for the villain just because it's Darth Vader doing badass things.
Yep.
Like, you're suddenly on the side of the enemy, and that's weird.
But that's kind of how it seems to be. I don't know. Imagine this 10 years down the road. Okay, we'll have like 8 more Star Wars movies between now and then, if the momentum continues, right? But imagine a world that has, the guy who did Blade Runner is doing Dune.
What if this is something that occurred?
If we have a bunch of Dune movies, right? I can see a flip where the real sci-fi fans will be being like, no, Dune is superior to Star Wars. Dune has a better overall mythology, consistent storylines, more interesting dynamics.
I had a thought after seeing the movie that horrifies me. What if the story feels so disjointed, and where the fuck do we go from here right now because they greenlit another trilogy, and that this is going to lead into the fucking other trilogy?
Yeah,
like
that's
what if we've just witnessed Star Wars turn into the meandering fucking whatever happens in this movie bullshit like Marvel?
What do you mean?
I mean, not all the Marvel movies need to exist. They just exist to exist. Did the Black Panther movie come out?
Oh, no. That's the summer.
Okay, I was going to say, if that came out, it made no ripples. At some point, a series of movies hits this just dead spot where people completely stop giving a fuck altogether. A great example of that is the Pirates of the Caribbean movie that most people don't even realize came out this year. It came out, it made no ripples, and we moved on. There was another movie just like that came out this year, and I can't remember what it was. Up last night to me.
Some extended thing?
I think so. Justice League barely made any ripples.
Oh, Justice League. Fuck Justice League, man.
People really didn't talk about that movie for very long.
You still haven't seen it, right?
No, I haven't.
Well, I suggest that you do, because I think you will like it more than what everybody else is saying about it.
Well, you know my movie tastes better than most people.
I think you'll like it. I mean, not all of it, okay, but you probably like at least some of the stuff that they throw in there.
In case the one friend I invited to watch this is watching this right now, this is what I mean by we're the most ADHD podcast you'll ever fucking watch.
Right, because we switch around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was the biggest mess of the year. I don't think Last Jedi was quite as big a mess, but
no, in the end, I think Last Jedi was brilliant because it had strong, plentiful balls. To do some of the things that it did took balls. Now, those things that were so ballsy could be retconned by J.J. Abrams, and they likely will be. Like Rey's parents being just nobody, that he'll probably retcon that. Snoke dying, he'll probably retcon that. And the next movie will probably be just a lift of one of the old fucking Star Wars movies. Because when you get down to it, J.J. Abrams is good at visual directing, but he's a fucking horrible director / writer. His input on the writing is terrible, always, every single time. He likes to do shit that's already been done, and his one trick for villains is take something that's already been done, just make it like 10 times larger. He did it with the big mining ship in fucking Star Trek. He did it with the giant dreadnought that's bigger than any Starfleet ship in the history of Star Trek in Into Darkness, and he did it with Starkiller Base. The guys on Red Letter Media were joking that in the third fucking Star Trek movie, it was going to be like a fucking half a galaxy-sized Borg cube that just sucked up planets and spit them out assimilated.
Hey.
And the sad thing is, think about it. Does that really sound like something he wouldn't do?
Not at all.
Like a Borg Dyson sphere. It just encapsulates a whole planet or a whole star and just assimilates it.
Well, did you see Super 8?
What's Super 8?
J.J. Abrams movie that was kind of a tribute to E.T. kind of thing.
No.
That movie had so many callbacks to the 80s. It was almost like a sci-fi Stranger Things.
The older I get, the less I like E.T.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same here.
Yeah, that movie is a kid's movie that you slowly loses you the further you get from being a kid. Because, yeah.
The thing I'll say, Last Jedi is not Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
No. Hell no.
And it's not I don't think they made any huge mistakes with the mythology. I don't think they did anything that was too outrageously stupid or too cute or too
I don't think it felt as epic as The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
I watched The Force Awakens the night before just to refresh myself. But that being said, Empire wasn't the most epic of the original trilogy.
No, it was more dramatic.
Yes. Kind of the same movie. They're being chased. Well, actually, that's about where it ends.
Well, I have a magazine from 1980 that is got a unfavorable review of Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
Really? They said that it was stupid, that the Force was just, it's basically just telekinesis.
Well, yeah, it is in the original movies.
And then that Yoda was at first a joke, but then he turns out his character completely switches, and then that it was stupid that they killed off Han Solo, and that that the training with Yoda was dumb. And I'm like, it's interesting to look back on things. I mean that this magazine also gave a negative review to The Shining.
Is it Entertainment Weekly by any chance?
No, it's Cinefantastique.
I will agree that the training with Yoda is stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Empire Strikes Back, do you agree or disagree that this movie was better?
Oh no, this movie wasn't better than Empire.
No.
Definitely.
No, it was interesting. It was definitely interesting. I didn't find myself bored at all. I wasn't like Revenge of the Sith, where I was just sitting there waiting for stuff to happen.
And
I continue to be the only one here that actually likes Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, you continue to be, because I don't understand why people think that that one is better than the other two. I really don't.
It's a really, really long lightsaber fight scene that should have been a lot shorter and more dramatic.
Yes. And I don't know, like, you want to talk about getting Boba Fetted. Mace Windu gets Boba Fetted.
Yeah. Speaking of the lightsaber scene between Anakin and Obi-Wan, it was actually supposed to be a lot better if you go back and watch the not deleted scenes, but the cinematics that they usually do for the scenes and shit, where it's just basically computer CGI.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be instead of having the whole "I have the high ground" scene, there was supposed to be a scene there between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin uses the Force to create a tidal wave of lava, it back on him, and when Anakin dodges it, that's when he cuts off his feet and arms.
I've heard about that.
It was actually an action figure, like these cool posed action figures that had the lava sloshing up around him.
Yeah.
That being said, the problem with the Obi-Annie fight isn't the ending. That's a problem, yes, but the main problem is that the fight is too goddamn long.
I think that was him literally trying to just make the longest fucking fight scene ever.
That fight needed to be about 10 minutes shorter, and it didn't need to be interspliced with the fight between Yoda and the Emperor. Those scenes would have worked just fine separately. Now, I honestly
feel the fight between Yoda and the Emperor could have been cut out completely.
No, I liked that fight because they fought with more than just lightsabers, and I liked that. Like, the Emperor is just having so much fun, just basking in all of his power and evil.
Yeah, the Emperor is my favorite character from the prequels.
And Yoda goes into that so confidently, and as the fight goes on, Yoda is realizing more and more that he's totally outmatched by this guy. Like, you can see it on his face. There's a lot of good shit going on there. It's just, it's dragged on for too long. But I do like the score during the final fight. It's got a great mix of all.
Here's the thing, though. Do you remember any of the score from The Last Jedi?
Yes. After watching the Force Awakens again and watching Last Jedi, I now have quite the fondness for the First Order's music.
Speaking of which, the score from Snoke's throne room is actually Palpatine's thing.
Is it? I really wasn't paying attention to the score during that scene. I was way too engrossed in what the characters were doing.
And now I know more about the writing process. I really think that Snoke didn't have a backstory.
Maybe.
Like they created this character. He's kind of a placeholder almost. And they were like, yeah, okay, that works. He's mysterious. We don't know. And they really did do a lot of, you know, the guided concept art where they created a lot of different stuff and a lot of it didn't get used. There was going to be like a Force Ghost Vader. There was going to be
that.
There was going to be more Luke in the movie. Maybe Luke is kind of, you know, there was a lot of stuff that they were just coming up with ideas and they were going to see where it went. And they kind of just only came up with the initial question. So Rian Johnson kind of gave answers that were expected and different, taken in a different direction.
Just when we thought we had all the answers, he changed the questions.
That's right. And I admire that. I admire, you're right, he had big balls. And I think that's what a lot of people don't like. I mean, a lot of people, fans of the books, fans of the video games and the way that other universes have been going, and like, this is the movies. This is where it matters, you know?
When the walkers were heading towards the base, I was like, oh God, here we go. And then the remade Battle of Hoth didn't happen. And I was like, well, that's kind of brilliant. They fucking completely fooled everybody into thinking that we're just going to see the Battle of Hoth recreated on a sand planet. And we really didn't. Like, the Resistance, they tried, but yeah, it didn't work at all. Like, they got their asses kicked in that fight. And apparently, okay, everybody has brought this up that I've watched that's talked about the movie. Apparently, that battering ram is supposed to be miniaturized Death Star tech.
Right.
And you both fall silent because you're like, what?
Yeah. How is that a Death Star tech?
Yeah, you're asking the same thing that everybody else asks. Nobody's quite sure why that has to be miniaturized Death Star tech, but apparently it is. I don't remember them saying that in the movie, though. I also don't remember seeing Rey with all the Jedi books, but apparently she stole those.
Oh, what? They didn't get burned?
Yeah, the ones inside the tree. Apparently, at the end of the movie, it shows that Rey has those. I must have, I don't know, I spaced out or something.
Yeah, she stole them.
So, yeah, burning the tree really didn't do anything. Yoda was just like, tree this fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, now Rey has all the original Jedi techs, and she's gonna be the new Jedi or something. She'll be something else, maybe. Okay. I've noticed something about Rey's character, and nobody brings this up. You know how
All right, here we go.
Jedi aren't supposed to fight with aggression?
Right.
Have you ever really noticed just how aggressive Daisy Ridley is when she is in her fight scenes?
Somewhat, yeah.
Like, she's vicious when she fights. She's always gritting her teeth and fucking giving murderous eyes. And she's in the fight between her and Kylo versus those guards, that was the most brutal fucking lightsaber fight ever made. You see one dude fall into a thing that chops him up into little pieces.
Yeah. Fucked him up.
But yeah, she fights like a crazy bastard when she fights. I still feel like they're going for. I'm just hoping that she's gonna end up being the first like full Force user, like the one who finds the balance between the two.
Yeah, I think she is because of how she fights. She uses a little anger.
Because of how she fights and because of they made sure to point out very blatantly that when she starts accessing the Force, she goes to the darkness very quickly. I don't really understand the scene in the dark side hole, though. The dark hole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having trouble even remembering what happened right there. I remember her seeing a whole bunch of herself. And then I don't remember how that scene resolves. Isn't that when her connection to Kylo Ren starts?
Yeah, I don't know.
For what part?
When she goes into that fucking hole that's like the dark side hole.
Oh, on the planet where Luke was? Yeah, can you repeat the question again?
I don't know. I don't remember how the fucking scene ended. I don't remember what that led to.
I think it was just her having a vision. Because she ended up being in there, but at the same time, she appears like sitting outside of a fucking fire, so.
They also did a fake out by making me think that they were going to do the tree from The Empire Strikes Back again, and then it turns out that that's not what that tree is. They even made the entranceway that she steps into look the same.
Yeah, I think that was a vision. I think.
The tree fake out got me. I was sure that they were about to do another, like a direct lift of the shit that happens in Empire.
Well, they didn't lift as much as I thought they would. But it is
No.
still kind of Empire Strikes Back meets Return of the Jedi with some new stuff thrown in.
Yeah.
I was expecting, but they still managed to surprise me.
I don't get why they couldn't catch up to the rebel ships.
They were both going the same speed or something.
I don't know. I guess I assumed that those big engines on the back of the Star Destroyers made them faster.
Well, I mean, they could have gone ludicrous speed, but then they would have overshot them.
Yeah, they would have gone to plaid.
Which would have been funny. Quick, let's go to ludicrous speed. I don't think. Screw it. Ludicrous speed, says, Hux. I guess he's the guy.
Hux looks like he has aged like 10 years since the last movie.
Yeah.
I noticed that immediately. I was like, wow, he looks a lot older. He must be on drugs or something.
Yeah, Gingers usually age slower.
I know, but he looks like he's been hitting the needle.
It,
Did they have 2 Super Star Destroyers? Because they destroyed something that they called a dreadnought, but they seem to also have a Super Star Destroyer with them, and I thought that those were the same thing.
I don't know. But okay, let's what else did we need to address?
The kamikaze to the fleet thing, that was fucking beautiful.
Also, the flashback scene that gave us more detail of what happened between Luke and Kylo.
Yeah, the flash. I wanted to talk about that. I liked how we got that in pieces. Like, we heard Luke's side of the story, then we heard Kylo's side of the story, and you're like, there's probably something like there's a middle ground here we're not hearing. Luke's one little moment of weakness fucked up everything. It is a little unusual, though, that Luke would light his lightsaber and get ready to chop his nephew in half. But if you look back on Return of the Jedi, Luke is prone to little fits of dark side. He straight up murders those Gamorrean guards when he walks into the palace. Nobody ever talks about that either. He just straight up walks into Jabba's palace and force chokes 2 dudes to death and just keeps on walking. Dressed in a black robe.
He does murder a whole bunch of other guards on the skiff.
Yeah, and he gives the ultimatum to Jabba, give me my friends or I am going to kill you.
Right.
Somebody made an argument on there's a Star Wars YouTube channel that I watch. The dude made an argument that side of the Force can be used by both sides. It just depends on what motives you're using them for.
That kind of goes against the canon.
I think that,
Obi-Wan, it really doesn't, because when on Mustafar, after Obi-Wan cuts Anakin's legs off, when he's touching his forehead, he's actually using a light side force power called Force Heal to help keep Vader alive.
Well, I mean, Obi-Wan, I think, uses the dark side in A New Hope.
Yeah, the mind control is actually a dark side power.
Yeah, when he says these are not the droids you're looking for, he's using dark side power.
Yeah, it just depends on the dynamic that you're using it for. You can use either side. It's more of the motive behind the use of it.
I've never heard the mind described as a dark side power.
It is manipulation.
It is.
That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be considered a dark side. I don't know, but I've always just had it described as just a universal power.
Each side has specific powers. There's light side powers, dark side powers, and powers that are neutral to both sides.
I guess I'm going by Knights of the Old Republic rules.
I mean, so far, the movies Force Awakens and Last Jedi have been much more engaging than the prequels. They're much more interesting and more solid films.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I hate the way Phantom Menace starts off.
Yes, it's very, very slow.
And it doesn't seem like the beginning of anything. We see them land and there's stuff already happening. Like, what the fuck kind of lame-ass way is this for movie to open?
Because nothing really does happen. Ultimately, it's just how Anakin met fucking Obi-Wan and Padme.
And that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Like, as a little kid when he couldn't use the Force at all, and yeah. He was just the second most annoying thing in the movie behind the big cartoon rabbit.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, and there's no Jar Jar in this series so far. People have been trying to say that Rose is the new Jar Jar.
That's dumb. That she's not that bad.
No, she's just kind of there.
My question is everybody's problem with Rose.
She's worthless. She doesn't need to be in the movie.
Well, to be fair, 99% of characters in movies don't really need to be there.
Yeah, but she really doesn't need to be there. Like, everything involving her goes nowhere. Even though a large chunk of the movie is dedicated to it.
Somebody, okay, so you know the fucking Codebreaker guy, DJ, that we were talking about? Somebody told me that they should replace his character with Tommy Wiseau.
That would have been great. He certainly acts enough like an alien to be an alien.
Oh, you know that The Room is going to be getting a wide release in theaters.
Really?
Right, because after the Disaster Artist, there's interest.
Oh my.
I'm not going to lie, I'd go see it.
I would too.
I actually like The Room. Not
We
a
all-
good, but it's interesting.
We all like The Room.
It's a very watchable bad movie, along with Troll 2.
I watched it twice just last week.
I watch it like all the time.
Like, I watched it with a friend who had never seen it before, and then the next day my friend got his DVD of it, so we watched it again.
That's when we streamed it on that Rabbit site last week, or was that 2 weeks ago?
I've seen that movie a few times in the last month. Wow. Because I'm talking about a different occasion than that.
What would you say about The Room 2?
I think Tommy should rise from the grave, and he and Doggy should get their revenge on everybody.
All right, so you want to know my favorite part of that movie?
Well, no. Here's the plot. Little Donnie, right? He's like one of those guys from a Hammer Dracula movie where he's got he resurrects Tommy.
I said
right?
Doggy, not Donnie.
Say what?
I said
Hi, Doggy.
I said Doggy, not Donnie.
Oh, Doggy.
Yeah, he
I
and that
Donnie, like the kid. He resurrects Tommy.
His name is Denny.
Denny. Yeah, right. So he resurrects Tommy, brings him back to life to seek revenge on
Lisa,
Mark and Lisa,
who are now married for tax purposes.
Which I mean, at the end of the movie, it seems like he's gone. He doesn't want anything to do with her, right? And she's all broken up about it, right?
Her mom died. It turns out her mom was super rich. Her mom died of breast cancer, and she inherited a bunch of money. So Mark married her.
Right. Mark married her after she got all this money.
But now they're both fucking around on each other on the side with these two new characters that Tommy will possess frequently.
And Tom comes back and he is the vampire that he wanted to be. And he does have a flying car.
All right, so Ark, do you want to know my favorite scene in the whole Room movie just because of how random the dialogue is?
The flower shop.
Is it the flower shop scene?
Yeah, the flower shop scene.
Yes, it's everybody's favorite scene. It is the greatest scene in the movie.
My favorite scene in the movie is actually the drug dealer.
Oh, that's a good scene too. That's a good
because
scene.
that's the best acted scene in the whole fucking movie.
I also like the trying on the tuxedos and then playing football scene.
Yeah, what are they doing? They're not trying on tuxes. They try on tuxes at home.
There's no reason to try on tuxes.
They're not trying them on. You don't try them on at home. You try them on at the tuxedo shop. They just, for some reason, are all dressed in tuxedos, and then they go play football. Or
I like how this divulged from Star Wars to talking about the room.
Yeah, I would like to see them actually jumpstart a new Room saga. Like, not only is it a sequel to The Room, but it's setting up a third film as well.
Star Wars Episode 9, A New Room.
So Tommy comes back from the grave to seek revenge on Mark and Lisa, who are married, but they're both fooling around on each other, right?
Right.
And but then it sets up a third movie, right? A third film. We could have the drug dealer show up again.
He only successfully takes down Mark. The third movie will be about taking down Lisa.
We can also have a subplot to where Donnie's fallen in with a gang of drug dealers and is just in life. Like instead of
No, wait. In The Room too, though, it's all about Lisa. Wait. He's taking down Lisa. He's like right at the end of the movie. They set up Mark. We just like Luke at the end of Force Awakens. We only see Mark. He just turns around, looks at the camera, and credits roll. Right? Because Mark is the next movie, right? It'll all be about.
No. He finds Lisa's dead body at the end of the movie, and then behind him, you just see like some feet walking up, and then you just hear, "Oh, hi, Mark," and then it cuts to credits.
Okay, so there should be a scene in one of the future movies that. Okay, so we're establishing that
Tommy.
Okay, we're establishing that Tommy is a vampire. Okay,
with a
so what if they have a scene to where like he doesn't die, but they burn him or like they tear him limb from limb, and while he's being teared limb from limb, he just yells out, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa."
Right. Well, I also want to see like an epic battle between Tommy and Mark, which is a lot of pushing and flailing.
To some really epic like Duel of the Fates music.
Right, where he's like, you're no good.
and triple length sex scenes. Or at least double length. Each sex scene plays 2 entire songs.
A lot of sex scenes at the beginning of the movie and then none throughout the rest.
After seeing the movie so many times, I've realized like the sex scenes are so long, but there's barely any nudity in the movie.
Right.
Like they're the length of like dirty late night Skinamax movie sex scenes, but there's nothing.
Right, but they had the curtains and the rain and the candles and flowers. They have all the bric-a-brac that you expect as a Cinemax sex scene.
Yeah. I also noticed on my last viewing that Tommy Wiseau is in great shape in that movie.
He is.
I never realized that before. I was like, wow, he's actually kind of cut. That's weird.
Oh yeah, because he's the hero.
Yeah, I the hero. I all-American hero.
Right.
I'm so pissed off that I couldn't go see the fucking Disaster Artist.
You still got to see it, man.
No fucking theaters around here are playing it, so I have to wait for the goddamn DVD.
Or try and steal it online.
Well, yeah, but it has to come out on DVD first.
It could be some kind of, you know, crappy version.
I hate the shitty in-theater recordings. Those only very rarely are those good.
Well, I still haven't seen it either. I'm very excited about it, though.
The only people I've heard give the movie a bad review is Red Letter Media.
Well, those cynical bastards.
Yes.
What's wrong with the Disaster Artist?
They just didn't like it. They kept comparing it to Ed Wood for some reason.
I've never seen that, so I would have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
I just saw Ed Wood for the first time after watching that review. It's a good movie, but for some reason they decided to just put that as their bar of comparison and just keep comparing that to Ed Wood.
Yeah. Which is dumb.
All right, so going back to The Last Jedi.
Yes, yes.
What about it?
What do you think was probably the... Oh, okay, so overall, like, after watching the whole movie, where do you think they're going to go from here? Because they've seemingly killed off Snoke. Luke is dead, which means technically Rey has no teacher. I mean, like, she can still be taught stuff, kind of like Luke was by Yoda and Obi-Wan's shit, but where do you think they're going to go from here? Because at this point in time, Rey has no physical teacher.
I have absolutely no idea where they're going with it now.
Which I think is awesome. I think it's great that we have no idea. There were a lot of theories about where it was going to go after Force Awakens, and now we don't know. It's not set up for a Return of the Jedi situation.
Or cooking work and stuff, and then
It's kind of giving us a fresh start, a whole new perspective on the whole thing. But a lot of pieces are still there. We still have the Resistance versus the New Order. You know, Kylo Ren is now fully in charge of the New Order.
Which is something I actually like about these new movies. It's given more dynamic on the actual ground and in space rather than just focusing more on the Jedi aspect of it.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure that people are still going to theorize, though. There's probably tons of shit in the movie that we didn't notice because it was our first time seeing the movie.
Ultimately, I would like to see a series to where the bad guys actually win. Instead of Episode 9 having a happy ending, what if it ends up being the First Order that ends up winning?
Well, that would set up the third, fourth trilogy.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, and what is that new trilogy going to be? Because before we get the follow-up to Last Jedi, we're going to get the Han Solo movie. It'll be here before you know it. Officially, it's about 5 months off. Or less.
I don't have any interest in seeing that.
January, February, March, April, May. And no trailer yet.
I don't have any desire to see it. I hated Rogue One, and I feel like it's going to be just as stupid and pointless as Rogue One. The problem with prequels is no matter what the situation is, I know Han Solo is going to survive whatever happens in the movie.
Right. And I think I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of it. I expect it's going to be bad. I expect it's going to be pointless.
It's going to be a lot of sugar-coated candy fucking fan service like Rogue One was. And all the people who don't like the main trilogy that's happening right now are going to say it's better than The Last Jedi.
All right, I think there's a lot of I don't know. There's not going to be any lightsabers.
The side movies are always going to be the ones that the people who bitch about the main trilogy are going to be like, oh, these are better. Because that's how they were with Rogue One and The Force Awakens. The people who don't like The Force Awakens like Rogue One for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
They like gray color palettes, pointless stories, and meaningless characters.
But some cool Star Wars vehicles.
There was.
Star Wars vehicles.
I remember there being a transport and that being new. What else was there?
Edits.
Oh, right. The shit we've already seen before.
Right. And cameos by Red Lady.
Yeah, the archive footage usage, that was weird. It just looked wrong, like it stood out like a sore thumb. No matter how much you enhance that footage, it's still going to look like footage from the 70s.
Yeah, pretty much. Unavoidable.
And CGI actors. Now, I'm just going to make a little guess here, but I think they're going to do that to Alec Guinness. They're going to open up his grave, pop open his coffin, and take a nice warm piss all over his face and put him in another Star Wars movie, the series that he hated so much after doing.
You really think so?
Oh, yes. They pissed all over Peter Cushing, so they're going to piss on him next.
Well, I mean, I believe they're making a Obi-Wan Kenobi movie with Ewan McGregor.
They are. I don't think it's with Ian McGregor, though. They've said that they're making an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, though.
Oh, it's definitely going to be Ewan McGregor.
It better be Ian McGregor.
Oh, it will. He needs the money.
Yet another movie where I just can't give a fuck.
It's going to have no impact. It's going to be between things and pretty much end the way it's started off.
Ian McGregor is probably one of the best things about the prequels.
The Obi-Wan movie will be the story of how he learned to do a Krayt Dragon call.
With the Tusken Raider thing?
Yes, that's supposed to be the sound of a Krayt Dragon, a big goddamn dragon that lives on Tatooine. That big skeleton out in the desert when C-3PO and R2-D2 are lost, that's a Krayt Dragon skeleton.
Okay.
So it's that big. That being said, Tusken Raiders must be really fucking stupid because they're looking right at him when he's making the noise. He's like out in the open and obviously not a dragon. But then again, Tusken Raiders are stupid, even in the expanded universe. They're very, very dumb.
Yeah, they are.
That's George Lucas telling us that sand people are stupid. Get it?
Get it? I get it.
Okay. After years of people pointing out all the racism in Star Wars, Episode 1 especially, I'm going to add something new. It only just occurred to me the other day that the Gungan, you know, their little personal shields.
Yep.
It only just occurred to me the other day that they look just like Zulu warrior shields.
Oh, yeah.
Which fits into the black stereotype that they are. Like, they look just like Zulu shields, except they're made of energy instead of hide.
Made of energy, which makes no sense.
Well, it kind of does.
No.
What doesn't make sense is why aren't there Jedi out there that use those?
Yeah.
Because the lightsaber originally, it was supposed to be like, Lucas wanted it to be like you were swinging a great sword, like a big heavy sword. So like, a sword and shield method of fighting would be just fine. It would work with a lightsaber like Kylo's with that fucking kick-ass crossguard. I still like Kylo Ren's lightsaber. I don't understand why he rebuilt it with the same shitty kyber crystal, but whatever. I'm almost wondering if since Luke's got broken and they showed that the crystal's still in it, I'm wondering if like she's gonna rebuild it and now she's gonna have a crossguard lightsaber because the crystal's gonna be all fucked up.
Or some kind of new lightsaber or something, because you know,
they brought back light whips.
There you go.
During the fucking fight in the throne room, the guards are totally using what a light whip was. I mean, it's not the exact same thing, but it's pretty goddamn close. I was happy to see that. That was a thing from the EU. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's cool. I can only think of one character that used the light whip, though. She's this evil bitch who has a pet rancor named Cuddles.
Okay.
But that is my prediction for the Solo movie. It'll be just as divisive as all the other new Star Wars movies, and the people that didn't like The Last Jedi are going to say it's fucking brilliant.
It is brilliant.
It's so dense. There are so many things happening in each screen. I think it's going to be a lot of CGI. Like, it could possibly be the most CGI heavy Star Wars they ever make. It depends on how much they want to push the whole Han Solo is a badass fucking pilot thing. You know what it'll probably be? It'll probably be the fucking story about how he got the Millennium Falcon.
More than likely.
Yeah.
That's probably what it's gonna be. Like, didn't he swindle it off Lando somehow? Isn't that the story?
No, he won it fair and square.
Won it fair and square. Okay. It's gonna be that story.
Right. And it's probably going to involve the Kessel Run.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That. Yeah.
But he's gonna um, there's going to be something unexpected that happens along the way.
Do you know what the explanation for the whole Kessel Run debacle thing is? How he says
No.
parsecs, and a parsec is a unit of distance, not a unit of time. The explanation is that the Kessel Run involves flying through a cluster of black holes, and that he found the shortest way through it.
But that doesn't mean it's fast.
No, it doesn't. And the idea of multiple black holes being that close together makes my brain hurt as someone who understands science.
I think it just fuck it. It's just a space race from one place to another, right?
Yeah, basically.
And the
oh, there we go. There we go. It's going to be Star Wars Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, it'll be a space race, and that's kind of what the Red Letter Media guys were saying about it. Their predictions for the Han Solo movie.
Oh, I didn't see that. When did they make that?
A while ago. It's pretty entertaining.
I was in the middle of watching their review of Last Jedi when we decided to do this. I was kind of expecting us to do this podcast at night because, you know, we always do it at night.
Oh, I mean, it's nighttime now.
Well, yeah. Yes, it is.
Let me give you the link to that.
So, for anybody who's stuck with us all the way through this video, let's talk about something completely off topic. And I think the only thing we can talk about, since it's been so long since we've done a podcast, is Trump. Let's talk about Donnie Trump for a little bit, okay? Does anybody else think that, like, I've heard the theory that the reason Twitter doesn't shut down Donald Trump's account is because he is responsible for more traffic than anything else on Twitter right now.
I agree with that.
Like, they won't get rid of him because not only does he bring in people to either agree with him or argue with him in the responses, people make Twitters just to go argue with the president on Twitter. But what they don't realize is that he doesn't write those tweets, and he probably doesn't read the responses. He has somebody else that he dictates tweets to.
Right.
I've been told the president can't have a smartphone because they fucking, you know, they have a phone. I mean, they have a camera and a fucking microphone on them, and they're easily hackable. And they are. People who think that they're safe with their phone, especially you people who think that the government can't really break into your iPhone. Got news for you. There's a whole, like, subculture of hackers on the internet dedicated just to busting into Apple products and the iCloud. How do you think all them celebrity nudes get leaked?
Right. Well, I mean,
But
you might be accessing it somewhere else too.
God, it'd be awful if Donald Trump's nudes leaked.
Eh? I'll bet he doesn't have nudes.
You really don't think that motherfucker takes pictures of his own dick?
He's got
Are
nudes
you
of his wife.
crazy? He has all the personality traits of a guy who takes dick pics.
Yeah.
I asked somebody the other night, or I was actually in a group call with a bunch of people. I asked, okay, say Donald Trump gets assassinated. How long would it take before it became the #1 trending topic? And one of them was like, well, he would fucking tweet about it, so it'd probably be instant. And they're right. He would be the only person to tweet about their own fucking assassination. I just got shot by some liberal fuck. Sad. I'm bleeding out very badly. I don't think I'm going to make it through this. MAGA. Hashtag MAGA. And then finally, hugest death ever. Hashtag make America great again. What gets me about him is that I've been thinking about it, thinking about the last year, and all the things that people think he's gotten done, he hasn't really gotten done. Because every time he does one of those executive orders, he learns that judges can just shoot those down.
He doesn't know how the government works. He doesn't know.
It's like he went into it with no knowledge of the judicial branch. Did the Muslim ban ever actually take it in any form?
No.
No. So there actually is no Muslim ban. It's just like something he tried to do, but then it just didn't happen because judges.
Exactly.
I just every day, almost every day, it seems like there's a trending topic about him saying or doing something incredibly stupid.
Yeah, every day.
My favorite was when he told the press Mike Pence wants to hang all the gay people. And the only thing I could think was, oh my God, I bet Mike Pence is fucking pissed right now. Because he's actually trying to fight that image. And now he just got sabotaged by his fucking president. I have been wondering something, though, about all the talk about the Russia collusion. If that turns out to be true, doesn't that invalidate his whole cabinet? Like, doesn't that invalidate Mike Pence as well?
Yes.
It seems like if proof of foreign tampering in the election is proven, that it's going to cause a lot more problems than people think.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know where they're going to go.
I don't know. It's hard to keep track of it. It's hard to keep track of all the bullshit with him. It really, really is. Like, I keep forgetting about things. Like, I forgot that he made fun of a crippled person during his fucking campaign.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get impeached, but he probably should.
I don't think he's going to make it the full 4 years because of his age.
Oh, yeah, but in that 4th year.
People don't really think about that. He's the oldest dude we've ever elected to be president. He's over 70 years old. It's kind of unrealistic to expect him to live another 8 years. It's also unrealistic to think that that fucking wall could be built within his presidency, I think. Because I got to thinking of, like, Think about how long it takes. You live in the city, right?
Yeah.
Think about how long it takes for them to fix like an interstate road or a highway or just a regular road. Just think about how long it takes for that shit to actually get done. Now, we're talking about a border from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean where we're going to have to build new roads to get the materials out into the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and building the wall itself, and then building more roads and going down the line. That's going to take forever.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know. I feel like as they're building it, Mexicans will go fuck it up for fun. Like that'll be the new pastime for Mexicans, is fucking up that wall, crashing trucks into it and shit. If they do build it, though, I am eagerly anticipating the first video of a Mexican pole vaulting over it. I don't know how well he's going to survive the fall down the other side. Maybe if he does it where he's near the water. But I feel like there will be at least a dozen videos of dudes pole vaulting that motherfucker, and it's going to be funnier than hell.
Oh yeah. I don't think they're ever going to do it though. I don't even think they're going to get started on it.
He said something about they're building prototypes. I'm like, prototypes for a wall?
For a wall.
For a wall.
Just a PR thing when they have some walls set up.
It's not even like the Berlin Wall where we can have fucking guards on it. It's just a fucking wall. So, like, is there supposed to be guard towers on it?
I don't even know.
I've heard, one thing I've heard is that they're going to put seismometers on it so they can, so they can't dig under it. And I think they'll just dig deeper. Plus,
yes,
America has a long, grand, well-beloved tradition of doing things with the lowest possible bidder. So those seismometers probably aren't going to be worth a fuck. We do. If you look at the history of like military weapons and shit, we have a really long-standing history of going with whoever is the lowest possible bidder. And it fucks us over several times in history.
Well, I think, yeah, I don't know. Trump is very divisive. In fact, there's a lot of divisive shit going on right now. I personally can't believe that people still support Trump, but they do.
People's support of him is waning fast. I know someone who was a staunch Trump supporter at the beginning of this year, and he's at the fucking stage too. I think in the end, he's just going to be known as the most loudmouth motherfucker we've ever elected, and that'll be it. If he wins the next election, I will be very, very surprised. Unless he goes up against Hillary again, then I won't be that surprised.
If he wins again?
Yes, if he goes up against Hillary again, because people just aren't going to fucking vote for that bitch.
No.
She was doomed from the get-go just because of who she was. And those people who expect Bernie Sanders to run again, I got some bad news for you about his age, too.
All right.
I really don't think he'll be alive in the next election season. Did you hear that rumor that The Rock is going to run?
Yes, I think he is. I think he's doing.
Do you think people will vote for him?
Yes. But
People's
the problem
champion.
is the voting populace is old.
Yes.
And a lot of them are just like, will be like, The Rock? What?
Kane is running for the mayor of some town.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with all these wrestlers becoming politicians lately. It worked for Jesse Ventura. It can work for me.
Fucking not going to work, though. No, because nobody knows who the fuck he is. And the voting constituent is very old, and they don't know wrestling.
This is all the same shit we said about Trump, though. This isn't going to happen. There's no way. Blah, 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 blah. We could very well have the people's president. Oh my God, I can just see it now. He'll like people out. He'll sign his fucking executive orders by inking up his arm and doing a people's elbow onto the signature line.
Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump.
The election of Donald Trump has opened up a horrible Pandora's box where just any fucker can get elected now.
Hey, yeah, pretty much anybody else would be a better candidate than Trump.
Honey Boo Boo.
Yes. For Honey Boo Boo. That means we get spaghetti and ketchup. For every spaghetti and ketchup for everyone.
Is that really what she eats? I've never actually watched the show.
Yep, spaghetti and ketchup with some kind of butter sauce.
That's nasty.
It's very nasty.
No wonder she's so fucking fat.
Hey.
She keeps getting fatter and her mom keeps getting skinnier.
Well, I think she's going to have a transformation in a couple of years just so that she can have that amazing transformation.
Yeah, put her back in the news for a couple months and then it'll turn out that it's bulimia.
Yeah.
So before we go, I have a completely random story. I was at the hospital and I put $1 into the drink machine, hoping in vain that maybe $1 could afford me a drink. No. So I hit the fucking money return and it gave me a Sacagawea dollar.
Oh. Nice.
And I was like, no, not nice. Because I was like, thanks, asshole. Give me the one fucking coin I can't put into a fucking machine.
Oh, it doesn't go in?
I don't know if it went into that one. I didn't have enough money either way, but I couldn't go to a cheaper one and use that. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a fucking vending machine that takes Sacagawea dollars. Then again, I've never tried. Maybe they all do.
How do they have Sacagawea dollars in there?
I don't know. It just dropped a fucking Sacagawea dollar down, and I was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what they did with all of them. They just put them in vending machines like that to be the money return. So they can keep all the bills. But I think we've said all we can say about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what else to say about it.
We seem to all be in agreement that it was good.
I ain't got nothing else to say about it.
Shattered expectations, that's for fucking sure.
And I think that's great.
But I feel like people need time to digest it. Maybe they'll like it a little bit more. Or they're just going to keep bitching about it for the next 2 years like they did with The Force Awakens.
Yeah, probably. They'll just keep bitching about
it.
But, okay, well, that's the end of the show.
Right. That's right.